Hello, so we're here at Schönbrunn Palace in Austria. And I'm telling you, that Austro-Hungarian Empire sure knew how to build some impressive statues and architecture. I don't know the name of this fountain, but I pretty much call it the epic fountain of lots of cool shit happening and people riding unicorns and horses, and looks like Poseidon or somebody is up there with a trident. Um, Pretty much really epic. And there is the Schönberg Palace itself, the seat of the Habsburg dynasty. And in this video, I want to talk about the concept of time, uh, what it would be like to be in a realm that is, quote, timeless. And I base this off of some recent experiences, which I've posted about on the group, and I will have an article up soon on the Afterlife Topics website for those interested in hearing about some of my out-of-body experiences and reports and things that I've done in the astral projection state as I search for information and search for answers. So I'm going to cover a few of those topics as quickly as I can before my phone runs out of space. But you are watching Afterlife Topics and Metaphysics, where we delve into these supernatural, spiritual subjects, sometimes other crazy stuff, UFOs and secret space programs, ETs, things like that too. Depends on what mood I'm in. And sometimes some cool places to check out as well. It kind of looks like there's some cool arcways up there on that hill. I'm gonna start walking over there and see if we can get up there and while there's still some light out, because it's about to become pitch black. So, topic of timelessness. I think that this is a very important area because I was first introduced to the idea that time is not perceived the way that we think of it in higher dimensions in the book called Life in the World Unseen by Anthony Borgia. And in that book, they talk about how there really is no perception of clock time or calendar time. That, the idea of living in the now, living in the moment, is a very literal thing for people in higher dimensions, or what we call, quote, the afterlife. That they don't have that same kind of perception that we do. And I've always been very curious about this, and so lately in certain OBEs, I've been, no problem. Oh, I did lose those. Thank you. They fell right out of my pocket. Thank you, sir. There you go. A little bit of goodwill among people. I almost lost my pair of gloves. They were sticking out of my back pocket and they popped right out. Anyway, where was I? Timelessness. The Imperial Zoo. Do they have a panda in here, really? Oh, interesting. Don't know how I feel about zoos, to be honest with you. All right, so as I was saying, so the topic of time and timelessness. So what is it like to actually be in an environment like that? So in OBEs, I've been asking people, do you know what time it is? Do you know what year it is? And generally the reaction that I've been getting is confusion. And it's like they'll say that they are aware of the concept of time. They are aware of that there is such a thing as days of the week. But they don't, it's like it's not in their culture. And they've literally said that, like, the very idea of a year system or a calendar year system makes very little sense to them. It's confusing and not necessary. And so this is maybe what it would be like if just try to imagine that you have adapted yourself to a environment where there's no awareness of scheduling. Now it's very difficult to imagine because our whole lives are built around scheduling. It's built around day and night cycles, waking up at a particular time and being worried about entropy, right? We're given a set amount of years to live, first of all, and we have a bodily clock that we basically get sick and die if we don't live in accordance to it. So everything we do is based around some kind of entropy that keeps us really glued into these systems. So what would it be like if you just removed all of that? If you had a culture where there was not necessarily a need to have to sleep, there were no day and night cycles, which isn't to say that there's no day and night, but it's like those things happen when they do happen almost artificially in a sense. So it's not actually caused by the shifting of the sun or the shifting of the planet. I should say, not the shifting of the sun, but it's like you're not on a moving planet anymore, which is not to say that the astral Earth is not on a moving planet, but I think that there's a lot of different types of environments in many places where it doesn't follow any of those types of rules. So then let's consider that we're not on any kind of entropy-based schedule. So you're not worried about these types of things happening, right? You're not worried about not getting enough sleep, and you're not worried about how many days in the year you have left and how many years you have left until you eventually finish this mortal life. So taking all that into consideration, imagine what that culture would be like. It would be a culture completely disconnected from any semblance of understanding linear time the way that we do. It would be just you could say that you'd have all the time in the world for anything you want, because there's no longer structure. Because I think if you strip away all of these structures, you'll find that they are psychological mechanisms. And then once you find out that there's psychological mechanisms, then the question becomes, what is it like if those psychological mechanisms are taken out? Where the hell are we? Dear visitors, please stay on the path. Gloriette. Okay, still don't know exactly where we are. I mean, that's a really cool looking palace up there. It looks like there's a giant eagle up there. I didn't check the guidebook, so I don't really know where we are. As long as it's a little bit of daylight left, see if we can just get up there and take a look before the battery runs out and before it's nighttime. Speaking of day-night cycles and time, right? Again, a schedule, racing against the clock, keeping up with something. So again, I don't know. Here's the thing: is I don't think that these civilizations, these higher dimensional civilizations, astral civilizations, ET civilizations, I don't think they have no perception of time. I just think it's a very slim perception compared to us, because maybe there can still be a schedule. For example, let's say you're putting on an event. Now, these are civilizations with Earth-like worlds, so it makes sense that there would be such a thing as some kind of an event that would take place, and then people would schedule to go to that event, in which case there has to be a quote schedule. And once there's a schedule, then there's a perception of, okay, we're doing this at this time, and we're going to try to meet and do, and be here and get together for this purpose. So there would still be some kind of a element of time in that circumstance, wouldn't there? So we can't say that there's definitively no time at all, but it would just be a very slim, very, very slim, a very minor perception compared to the rigid structures that we live in. And as a result, they would find things like days of the week, months of the year, years to be redundant and unnecessary, And so when I was effectively trolling the afterlife by asking people what year it was, or if they knew it was 2019 or almost 2020, that's why they reacted in such a confused way. Like, what the heck are you talking about? Some people even saying, what's a year? It's very odd. Wow, look at this. So whatever this monument is, it's now lit up. They just now turned the lights on. Very beautiful. Maybe this says Joseph something. Maybe that's in reference to Franz Joseph, the emperor of the Austro-Hungarian Empire. Maybe it's a commemoration to World War I, because keep in mind, these are the psychopaths who helped start World War I. Not to disrespect the Austro-Hungarian Empire, but let's be real. As beautiful as this stuff is, these are psychopaths, and probably bloodlines that still exist today that are still psychopaths. But they know how to create some beautiful architecture and things like that. And I don't quite know what it is. I'll go look it up later. But I'm guessing by what it says, it has something to do with Franz Joseph, probably the Austro-Hungarian Empire. Maybe it's a war commemoration monument. I don't really know. But pretty cool, isn't it? So those are my thoughts about how to distinguish time. And ultimately, the differences between here and there are mostly psychological, which means even here in this world, we can be in that timeless environment if we can attune ourselves to that, kind of like what Eckhart Tolle talks about, the power of now, and then we're connected more to the true timeless existence. So this is Afterlife Topics Metaphysics. Go hit that subscribe button if you like this video, and you can hear more videos, or join classes, or buy a consultation with me if you want to support this work. And I will see you guys on the next video.